We want this thing to rotate. Now, how are we going to do that? In the graph editor, we can attempt to make a couple keyframes, but it's not going to work because ultimately the wheel is just going to think that it's in the same position as it started when it makes the spline in between the two keyframes. We could try using additional keyframes to help define the rotational movement, but because of the way splining works, it often leads to problems. You can get good results doing this, but there's often rough edges about it, so it's not too reliable. You could try your hand in the graph editor and just spin it around and see if you can do it perfectly enough, but again, there's rough edges. You can sort of see points where it jitters a little bit. In the motion editor, pull the time selection, pull out the fall off curve, and then start rotating the wheel however many times you want it to. Now you'll see the motion inside the fall off. That is the rotation. That's how it's going to get from the first state that it started at to the rotated state. And so you can essentially use this to make perfect rotations. Also, you can use the fall off settings by hovering over the fall off and pressing the 1, 2, 3, and 4 keys to change the type of fall off. Say if you wanted the wheel to start moving slow and then get faster, start moving fast and get slower, etc., etc. Play with the fall offs to help you get the movement just right. In this example, I used fall off to create a bunch of motions for this wheel, making it start slow, speed up, go to a constant linear motion, and then slow down to a stop through that linear motion. Now the same trick applies to make the camera perfectly rotate around things. It's very simple to do. Just grab the handle for the camera, and then shift and put it on top of whatever you want it to rotate around. Here I want it to rotate around this mecha engineer. Then take your rotation tool, hold shift, and click your rotation tool to make it relative to the world, and simply do what we did in the last section, create a fall off, and then in the end position, just simply rotate the camera. And you can pretty much see it's rotating completely in a perfect circle. I know you can alt-click to do something very similar to this, but this is just an easier way to do it. And again, just like in the other example, the fall-offs can make a lot of difference for how the movement works. If you just start clicking through the fall-offs, you can actually visually see how they make differences by looking at the little dots.